Right, how are you all doing, alright? Here's another video. This one is about processing vocals. So I've been sent this vocal piece. I believe it is for radio. It's in Spanish, but that doesn't matter. So this guy wanted to know how I did my vocal chain. So first of all, I would say, don't worry about what plugins you're using, the brands and stuff. Just use the right ones, you know, like the right style. So you need an EQ, you need a compressor, you might need some parallel compression, all that kind of stuff. But don't worry about the brands. Really doesn't matter too much. Once you got the basis down of how to do it, then you can explore the brands of the different processing that you can get hold of, and then experiment more. But just get it down to, down to the basics. Just use what you've got. Then go and find the other stuff. So we'll take a listen to this.
Rock FM, tocándote más música. Código FM, tocando lo mejor.
So it sounds quite bass heavy, a lot of boominess down there, so always start by cutting that away. We'll start there and have a listen back.
Rock FM, tocándote más música. Código F.
So that's a little cleaner, and do another dip here, somewhere between 2 and 5.
Rock FM, tocándote más música.
I'll do a little boost, although most of the high end is going to come from the exciter when I pop that on later.
Rock FM, tocándote más música. Código FM.
So that's great so far. So it's important to cut away the low end because first of all it sounds boomy and not too pleasant, and second of all it eats up a lot of headroom. So when you go to put in limiters on at the end, you're not going to be able to get it as loud as you'd like. So next up, I'm going to try and stick to all of the, what's it called? Stock plugins, rather than going to all the waves and stuff. So I'm going to stick to what's inside Logic. First of all, I'll just go with this simple compressor. We'll set it at a 3:1. And I'm going to dial the threshold in as I play it.
Rock FM, tocándote más música. Código FM, tocando lo mejor de la música de hoy. Urbana 90.
So that smooths it out nicely, as you can hear. I'm then going to go ahead and put the exciter on there. Right there. There we are. Again, just play around with that. I find for vocals, you want to get it, well, around there, 8400 hertz, and then adjust the harmonics, normally up around here somewhere, but just play around.
Rock FM, tocándote más música. Código FM, tocando lo mejor de la música de hoy. Urbana.
You'll notice when you put the exciter on, you start boosting the high end, you then introduce a problem with the S-ing. So you need a de-esser. If you can, try and get rid of it with the EQ. But I've already just boosted the EQ to give it a bit more top end, and that's when the problems come in because I've added the exciter as well. So you can get a de-esser. There's one right here. This is the one I normally struggle using. I like to use the Waves one because it's more simple. But there's a couple of presets, so we can start off and see how it goes.
Rock FM, tocándote más música. Código FM, tocando lo mejor de la música de hoy. Urbana 91.7 presenta el Top 10. Urbana 91.7.
I think that's kind of better.
Rock FM, tocándote más música. Código FM, tocando lo mejor de la música de hoy. Urbana 91.7 presenta el Top 10. Urbana 91.7.
That's not too bad. That's pretty much covers it. I mean, of course. Oh, there's some noise going on there. Never mind. You can always I'll send this to another compressor. I almost forgot to do that bit. But you can add maybe a touch of reverb, but for that kind of speech, you might not want it. When I'm doing parallel compression, you want to go quite heavy on the ratio, also on the threshold. We'll dial this little guy up to send some across.
Rock FM, tocándote más música. Código FM, tocando lo mejor de la música de hoy. Urbana 91.7 presenta el Top 10.
So I'm happy with the way that the compressor is set. You just need to dial in over here as to how much you send. So you can dial it right back and you have something like this.
Rock FM, tocándote más.
And as I wind it up, you will see, well, sorry, not see, you will hear the difference.
Música. Código FM. Tocando lo mejor de la música de hoy. Urbana 91.7.
You got some clip in there, but it's only minor. If you can't hear it as a problem, then it's not a problem. I will put on a little bit of reverb, just because. I might end up taking it straight off again, but you know, just so you can play around. Then I'll show you a couple of other effects also that you can put. But you might get carried away, you know, you don't want to put too much on this kind of thing because it's just spoken word. You want it to kind of remain human. It depends what the guy's going for, really. So when you've got your reverb on a bus, you need it to be 100% wet. Because that's what this control over there does, that adjusts how much. So I don't know what the standard default is at, but let's have a little play and we'll see what we get.
Rock FM, tocándote más música. Código FM, tocando lo mejor de la música de hoy. Urbana 91.7 presenta.
I guess just a little splash on there actually doesn't sound too bad. You know, you wouldn't want to go too mad. Too mad would be
Rock FM, tocándote más música.
But I think if you just dial it back just to have a little sprinkle on there.
Rock FM, tocándote más música.
So you can barely hear it, but it's just there just to wetten it up a little bit. So the other guy I would go with putting on here. They have one in Logic, but it's not as good as the Waves one. Got the sample delay, mono to stereo. And see what this one does.
Rock FM, tocándote más música. Código FM.
If I wind it up a lot, you're going to hear what it's doing. So I'll wind it all the way, you can hear what's going on, then I'll dial it back.
Tocando lo mejor de la música de hoy. Urbana 91.7.
So yeah, that's basically putting a delay from the left speaker to the right speaker. So just put in a little bit and it will just widen it up a little.
Rock FM, tocándote más música. Código FM.
However, a lot of the time when you're using this, it doesn't always translate very well into mono and it can cause phasing. So always check it in mono if you're going to go ahead and use that one. And that's pretty much it. I mean, the last thing I would go and do now is I need to bring the mixer up. If you're layering that with sound effects and what have you, then you'll need to get all of your sound effects measured, balanced properly, so they're all the right volume. Then you go across here onto your master out and lay a limiter. Sorry, I'm always mumbling and rattling on rubbish. Never mind.
Tocando lo mejor de la música de hoy. Urbana 91.7 presenta.
Of course, that's quite loud. So let's turn that down here so that we've got room to actually limit
Rock
it.
FM, tocándote más música. Código FM, tocando lo mejor de la música de hoy. Urbana 91.7 presenta el top.
That is reducing quite a lot by 11.7, but to me it doesn't sound so bad.
Rock FM, tocándote más música. Código FM, tocando lo mejor de la música de hoy. Urbana 91.7.
Well, I'll keep it at that because to me it sounds decent. So, removing everything. And, of course, that guy. You've got this.
Rock FM, tocándote más música.
I'll add them all one by one as we go along.
Rock FM, tocándote más música. Código FM, tocando lo mejor de la música de hoy. Urbana 91.7 presenta el Top 10. Urbana 91.7.
So there you have it. That's how I would process vocals in that kind of manner if they were just plain spoken word. Hope that was insightful. See you later.